The root cause of autoimmune disease, fibromyalgia, ME, CFS, long COVID, anxiety, depression, and other energy conditions is not the mystery that it's made out to be. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what the root cause is according to a plethora of mind-body research and my own experience in helping clients to recover. Many doctors and even specialists in this arena still believe the root cause of these chronic conditions to be a mystery, but they aren't. And for more on this, you might want to watch my previous video if you haven't already, and the link to that will be in the description below. You will hear most holistic health practitioners talk about the root cause being nutritional or a dysregulated nervous system. Now, certainly a nervous system that is out of whack is a key feature, and the nutritional side of things is very common in people with these conditions, but these are not the root of it all. The root is found when you dig deeper, when you explore what is causing these things, which can then lead to the manifestation of the more noticeable physical symptoms. So what is the root of all of this then? The answer is prolonged lack of emotional safety and the subsequent accumulation of suppressed emotions. And if your next question is not how and why the hell does this happen, then it should be. We have emotions for a reason. They are our inner guidance system, there to help us navigate through life in the easiest and best way for us. This is the role of our emotional brain, or our body brain, to guide us towards what feels good and away from what doesn't. Emotions are sent as messages from our emotional brain to our thinking brain so that we can become aware of how we're feeling and why, and then take appropriate action. So when our emotional brains and thinking brains work together in this way, all is well. But this doesn't always happen. Most of us aren't taught about emotions, the range of them, how to explore them, let alone how to deal with them effectively. Instead, in this society, we're conditioned to ignore them, to suppress them, to stuff them down so that we can just carry on with what we think we should be doing and thinking. The reason this doesn't feel good is that it is out of alignment with the messages that our emotional brain is trying to send us. Remember, its job is to keep us on the right path for us, to keep us feeling emotionally safe. So when we ignore these messages, whether we mean to or not, our emotional brain will keep trying to get our attention. It does this by sending danger signals to the hypothalamus in the brain, switching on the body's stress response. This is a biochemical response designed to be short-lived, to help us to take flight or to fight off in response to some kind of physical threat or danger. When the threat passes, it switches back off again and the release of chemicals stops. But when it gets triggered in response to an emotional threat, which remains for a prolonged period, the hypothalamus can go into overdrive. Since the hypothalamus is responsible for keeping homeostasis, everything regulated within the body, and is linked to every system within it, it's easy to see the potential wide-ranging physical effects of it being in overdrive and continuing to flood the body with more stress response chemicals than it is able to use up. So this suppression happens when the thinking brain rejects the message and sends it straight back to the emotional brain. The other way the thinking brain can deal with emotion, though, is to latch onto it, to overthink it and make it bigger, or distort it so that it becomes something other than the primary emotion it began as. It becomes a secondary emotion, which distracts us from the primary emotion, which therefore still goes undealt with, ignored, suppressed, causing the same alarms to be raised. In short, suppressing emotions over time, instead of being aware of them and acting appropriately on them, can cause us to get jammed in fight or flight mode, and often leads to a lowered immune system and a host of physical symptoms, including chronic pain, brain fog and fatigue, as well as keeping us in a constant state of anxiety or even hypervigilance. However, knowing how all this is caused means that we know that there is a way to reverse it. Learning how to stay emotionally safe will allow the hypothalamus to return to normal function, switching off the biochemical stress response and therefore the production of symptoms. The next question to be asked and answered: what kind of things can cause us to feel emotionally unsafe? Well, as much as emotional issues can be incredibly complex and wide-ranging in terms of degree and depth, it can be helpful to reduce the kinds of emotional issues that we all, as humans, face to a few simple categories. This isn't done to dismiss the severity of a range of issues that can be experienced, but to provide a useful method of identifying emotions and issues and any subsequent repeating behavioural patterns. Our issues are usually around unfair treatment and lack of boundaries, not meeting enough of our own needs, and the subsequent suppression of our emotions. This is why work to clear emotions and trauma, calm or reset a nervous system, change diet to remove food groups and adding supplements, etc., can only go so far in most cases. None of this deals with the emotional root cause and is therefore like firefighting with someone or something external being in control of the water hose. To gain proper control, and for that control to be in the hands of the person concerned, effective action around dealing with these emotional issues has to be taken. Because until we learn to deal differently with them, they will keep playing out in our current lives. If we are people pleasers who ignore our own needs in favour of those of others, we will continue to be that way and to neglect ourselves until we make real changes. If we allow people to treat us unfairly and make us feel bad about ourselves, we will continue in that pattern until we start to respect ourselves by installing healthy boundaries. If we have always kept how we feel to ourselves, our emotions will keep building within us, causing unwanted emotional and physical feelings until we start to work with them in a way which allows them to move through as they are meant to, by expressing ourselves and dealing with issues as they arise. No one can do this for us, so if you don't want to make changes, then you could find yourself in a lifelong game of whack-a-mole with somebody else holding the bat. Yes, by the way, I like analogies and I will either use one to death or use several to make one point. But if you do want to be the one in control, if you do want to tackle symptoms at the root cause so that you can stop and prevent them, if you do want to be able to view symptoms as helpful messages from your body rather than something to be feared and masked at all costs, just know that you can. There is a way to reverse it. And know that the shorter term discomfort of making the changes is worth being altogether more comfortable emotionally and physically for the rest of your life. If you think that more people should know all of this, please hit like and subscribe and share it with everyone that you know on social media. And if you'd like to know more about the direct help and online courses that I offer, see the links in the video description. However, I will be continuing to make videos and uploading them right here on this channel, talking more about this and all aspects of recovery. So thank you for watching and I will see you again soon.